Thank you for joining Jade Global today for the webinar on service supply chain. Now I would like to introduce Matt McCarty. Matt has over 15 years of experience in service planning and logistics in the high-tech industry. He has worked with large enterprise companies as well as high-tech startups. Matt is currently working with FireEye, where he and his team are implementing their world-class service supply chain. Parag is the principal consultant at Jade Global. He has more than 10 years of experience in Oracle applications. His domain expertise includes B2B integration, customer service, service logistics, supply chain, and enterprise mobility. I'll hand it over to Parag and Matt now, who will review the agenda and continue with the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Sangeeta. Thanks for the Jade team for having me. Hello, everyone. As Sangeeta said, my name is Matt McCarty, and so I manage service supply chain here at FireEye. So I'm going to go over a lot of items here today. I'll start off with an overview of the service supply chain. Okay, so here's just a kind of a definition as we see it. So service supply chain management is all about providing the right product in the right quantity to the right place and the right time, which seems fairly simple, but especially in the service supply chain, it can get complicated very quickly, and that's mainly due to the variables of especially on the right time that customers need their product. Okay, so what you're looking at now on the next slide is kind of a visual on the supply chain, high-level overview. I'm going to start up at the top there, which is the contract manufacturer and repair vendor. What that does is it basically brings the supply into the service supply chain through a main distribution hub. That's in the center there. Once the hub receives the product, it can then distribute it out, preferably in bulk, as much as possible to save on cost, out to the remote depots, locations around the world. So those depots, when there's a customer need of an RMA, would send that replacement out to the customer, whether it could be 2 hours, 4 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours, and that's the variable that gets complicated. So on the reverse side is the customer now has a defective appliance that they need to send back. So how are they going to do that? They would return it back to their local depot, and that just facilitates the return for the customer, so they don't have to deal with the importer of record, exporter of record, back to the depot, where we would then bulk up those items, send them back into either direct to the hub, or another option would be direct to the repair vendor, repair partner, where they would repair the product, send it back out to the hub or the depots. So as you can see, it's a closed circle type of plan here. Okay, so the next item is we're going to talk about turning the potential of the service supply chain into profit. So historically, from what I've seen, certain companies have thought of the service supply chain and RMA as more of a burden or a cost to the company, when in reality it could really be profitable for the company through service revenue. So many organizations, they now realize that there is that potential that's buried in their service operation that they need to bring out to help the company's revenue. So the after-sales support, it provides a relatively low risk but a long-term revenue stream, particularly if you can lock in customers with service contracts from whether it be 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. That's continuous flow of service revenue that's coming into the organization. Another benefit also is improving the service quality. It increases the customer satisfaction, which in turn it can increase new product sales. So if a customer has received a product and it becomes faulty, you can turn that bad situation into a positive one by supporting the customer and delivering the replacement part within that committed time frame. And then what happens at times with customers, if new products or new sales, their margin and sales might begin to decrease in certain periods of time and becomes harder to sell. The service revenue can actually still be increasing and can help the organization through those hard times, just keep it afloat. And then the big challenge is, with all that potential, how do you turn it into, actually turn it into profit? So the challenge is what we're going to talk about next here. Okay, so a large challenge is, as I talked about earlier, is raising the awareness of the organization that there is a need to improve the service supply chain. So Lack of resources focus on service could be a problem, and that could inhibit the organization of moving forward and tapping into that potential for the company. Service supply chain, it can get very complex, just the global nature of the service operations. And then there's many different types of service offerings that can be offered from 2-hour to 4-hour, and then they're spread out around the globe, which makes it even more complex. The lack of IT support is another big challenge that I've experienced over time. So with all of the complexities, if you have manual processes, that can delay delivery, it can delay many things, it can really hinder the service supply chain. So being able to have the right IT tools in place can help things just flow much smoother, and then even less resources would be needed with all the manual process. One other item that can help with this inventory planning is a planning tool. That's an important IT tool where you can sync that up with B2B to your ERP system, and that can help your inventory planning, make sure you have the right part at the right place. So the lack of the holistic view of the service operations is a big challenge. So you'll need to understand all aspects of the service supply chain and be able to present that to the management in a way to inform them of the importance of this side of the business. Great. Okay, so now how do we do that? So we just came up with 6 ways, high-level ways to improve your service supply chain. Okay, so the first point is to increase the parts availability and at the same time reduce the inventory carrying costs. So those are kind of conflicting items right there. So that's a challenge. So by having this, for example, the planning tool that I spoke about earlier, it can help to make sure you have the right amount of product at the right place without carrying a lot of excess inventory. There's only so much that you can do in Excel. Excel is a great tool, but to really be very efficient, having the IT tools, for example, a software planning tool is very beneficial. The next item is to automate and expedite the order fulfillment process. So that is key, especially if you get into the 2-hour and 4-hour delivery times where every minute counts. So the clock starts ticking as soon as the order is entered in the system. So if you don't have it, the order fulfillment process automated, and you have people manually entering the orders, sending orders over to your partner, that's lost time, and you could miss the SLA time. Okay, so increase the operational efficiency and reach by utilizing 3PLs. So many companies do not have the global reach where they could open up depots around the world. So that's why it's important to have a good partner who does have that reach and capability to do that for you. The fourth point there is to increase B2B connectivity. So it's somewhat of a repeat on point number 2, but at the same time, it also states there to increase the visibility on the supplier side processes with the 3PL, so you can get status of the order, make sure that the order did go through, that they are picking it, and they are shipping it on time. And then the B2B connectivity is important to make sure the order gets over to the your partner's system and depots within minutes after you book it in your system. Okay, so the fifth point is to implement technology solutions for easier monitoring of end-to-end service supply chain. So with the systems that you use, it's important that they're all linked and you have visibility to all the orders, both customer orders as well as when they come back from repair, you can have visibility to your repair partner. And then, of course, the most crucial one is with your 3PL partner, so you can see status of the shipment that is being shipped and delivered on time. Okay, and the last point, which is also important, is to provide your customers with tracking capabilities of their order. Mobile technology is a growing field, and a lot of people are interested in having everything at their fingertips and be able to track their orders and know that it's been shipped and delivered. So that's something new, I think, that's come out in recent years. So that would be a good, important area to get into as well. Okay, so thank you very much. I'm going to pass get on to Parag.
Sure, thanks, Matt. Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Parag Mone. I'm a principal consultant with Jade Global. So Matt has very well covered about what is a service supply chain, what challenges it faces, and he has also explained 6 ways or a couple of ways to improve overall service supply chain experience. So in the next session of this webinar, we will go through again some processes related to service supply chain. We will look at the solutions which Jade Global has built over the period of time and how those solutions benefit overall service supply chain. So let's get started with that. So customer support processes are extremely complex. To ensure 100% of customer satisfaction, it requires a lot of business groups to work together and obviously systems to work together in a harmonious fashion for optimum results. So let's go through, let's have a walkthrough of these processes and discuss the key challenges of service supply chain or customer support processes. And I would just like to highlight one important point here. The process flows which are depicted here is very high level, and it is for a typical organization, especially high-tech organization which outsource their manufacturing, service supply chain, field service and repairs to some or the other B2B partners. Some of you may be able to relate to some of these challenges which you face in your organization's business model, and maybe in the IT systems that you have implemented. So typical process starts when customer reaches out for support. So here either customer can reach to you either by telephone or by customer support website, or maybe even through a mobile. And today social networking sites are also providing another interesting way for customers to reach out for support. That is something which we probably discuss at some later point of time, since that model is still evolving. But in short, customer reaches to you when there is a problem with the appliance or with the product that you have sold to customer. So after reviewing customer request and based on the result of the remote diagnostics, call center executive or your engineer decides to provide part replacement or repair services as entitled in the customer support contract. They would have to create RMA, and depending on the type of contract, it could be of type return, repair or replace, or it could be return and replace, could be advanced replacement, so on and so forth. Matt also mentioned about field engineering support, which is, it could be 4 hours engineer on site. So depending on the contract of a customer, the service that you provide to the customer may vary. So after this, there are 2 main processes. One is to ship replacement part to the customer, and second is to obtain defective part back from the customer. For both of these processes, companies would need to communicate to their 3PL and to ship the part, as well as they will need to communicate some message or some information to repair vendor to receive the part. Now again, there are some variations in the return processes. Organizations can make customers ship the defective to 3PLs, and then 3PLs will send all shipments in a consolidated fashion to repair vendor. So it varies depending on the organization and the processes which you have implemented. So the key challenges are to perform the transaction in your backend ERP system. It could be Oracle, it could be SAP, or could be any other ERP system, and to communicate that information to your B2B partners. So here your B2B partners could be 3PL providers like UPS, Flash, Siva, Logistics. It could be a repair vendor, or it could be a field service providers like IBM or OBS. So that talks about what you need, what typically you do when there is a replacement part needed or return to be changed from the customer. Another set of processes are to plan the forward logistics by replenishing the depots worldwide either by refurbished units or by procuring new parts if required. So good planning or integration with these planning systems needed to be in place to make these processes work. So Matt mentioned about a couple of planning tools like Baxter or Oracle Service Parts Planning or any other planning tool. But then if these planning tools are integrated with your backend ERP system, with your B2B partner, then it works much better. So throughout the support processes, the tracking of defective and new unit back and forward logistics chain is essential. So that is the overall high level process. So let's now look at the overall problems that we still face in these processes. And then all these involves a lot of manual steps in processing. So let's have a look at the summary of challenges. So we talked about the typical replacement process and return process, and then how any service parts planning tool plays a part in service supply chain. So here is a quick recap of challenges and issues. So very first thing is timely response. Customer always likes to see the status of their request and would like to have timely resolution of their support request. This is a key differentiator to run a successful service or support operations. Most of the times, companies have a lot of manual steps which are generally mistake prone or causes delays. So that is second challenge which we typically see. A third challenge is disparate systems without any connectivity. So you may have a system, let's say you may have a Salesforce.com for case management, for knowledge base management, and then you may have Oracle as your ERP system for parts fulfillment. You may be using some third-party planning system for your service parts planning. So it is really essential to connect all these systems in a good way so that information is available and data is flown across the systems. Another challenge, or another very important challenge, is inventory inaccuracies. So we have observed that inventory goes out of sync when we have so many systems in touch points. This ultimately leads to need to have more cycle counts, physical inventory counts, or the reconciliation of inventory. Another challenge is missed customer SLA. When all these manual transactions are there and there are disparate systems in place, obviously the transaction processing cost runs at very high level, and which ultimately impacts your customer satisfaction, and you are missing SLAs with customer. Sometimes total cost of repairs is also high to any organization if you have disparate systems, if you haven't implemented processes in place. And then that also impacts on a warranty, where warranty cost is, it goes very high. So these are the typical challenges which we have seen over the period of time. So now let's look at the solutions that we have built at Jade, and we have implemented those solutions at various customer places. So let's start with the very first solution, which is called RMA Portal. It is a web-based portal with various flavors like integration support. So it integrates with Salesforce.com, Remedy, or any other third-party CRM solution. It has rich functionality of end customers, creating or customer support staff like your support engineer, creating RMAs and tracking status of RMAs. It also performs entitlement check and integrates with other solutions like warranty automation and alternate part. So use of RMA Portal or RMA web application is to allow your engineers or customers to directly create RMAs or to submit RMA requests from your company website. So that is about RMA Portal. So let's talk about little more about warranty automation. So typically your contract manufacturer provides some kind of warranty to you. So this warranty automation provides a placeholder to capture the warranty information provided by your CM by part level, and then it offers warranty entitlement check during RMA creation. This is a very important solution to help keep the repair costs low and properly track the products to ensure it reaches back to the manufacturer if it is under warranty. Third solution is B2B integration. It is a comprehensive integration pack supporting various kinds of messaging with your logistics provider like UPS, Flash, or it could be with your contract manufacturer like Jabil, Textronics, or it could be with your field service provider like IBM or OPS. The middleware piece of solution leverages any existing middleware that you may have at present. It could be Oracle Fusion, it could be Oracle SOA or TIBCO or any other cloud middleware. In some instances, a simple FTP file upload or SAT file transfer could also be viable solution. And this B2B integration solution comes with full integration with Oracle backend modules like Oracle order management, inventory, manufacturing, purchasing, install base, and service contracts. So through B2B integration, you can communicate your, let's say you can communicate your RMA request to your logistics provider, and logistics provider as and when had shipped that particular replacement part to the customer, you can process those messages back into Oracle and then automate that information. Fourth solution is EMS, which stands for Exception Management Solution. This is highly configurable solution which complements B2B integration by providing comprehensive exception management. And this solution includes exception notifications, reprocessing, reporting, correcting, and auditing of these messages. This solution can be leveraged for anyone building Oracle integrations. So EMS allows you to update and correct incoming and outgoing messages. It provides a way to monitor all these messages, and then at the same time it gives it offers features for business users who can come in and then track messages. So your IT doesn't really need to track each and every incoming and outgoing message. Business users can track these messages through EMS, and then they can see the status of that individual message, whether it is successfully processed or failed in your backend ERP. Next solution is alternate parts, or sometimes it is also referred to as substitution parts. The key benefit of this solution is it helps keeping the inventory carrying costs to the minimum. It helps identify the alternatives of defective product for replacement order and for planning purpose. For both these alternate parts are different, and in most cases it's opposite in nature. With the integration with RMA Portal, the transaction flows through with minimum manual touch points. So alternate part offers you a placeholder where you can define alternate or substitute parts of any available part in your any part which is defined in your inventory, and during fulfillment of RMA or fulfillment of your order, alternate parts and its automations looked at the definition of alternate parts. It checks where that part is available in your service supply chain. So as a part of this alternate part, there is also a placeholder where you can define your return and fulfillment matrix. So alternate part solution has three components. One is the placeholder where you can define your service supply chain, let's say your return and fulfillment locations. Second thing is you can also define alternate part definitions and ranking of those parts. And then third component is automation, which looks at your return and fulfillment matrix. It also looks at the alternate part definition and determines best part and best location to fulfill the order. Next solution is a planning solution or planning integration, I would say. So this provides means to help seamlessly execute the logistics plan and helps in keeping the optimal inventory. So you can go with any planning solution of your choice. Let's say if it is a Baxter or any other planning tool, service parts planning tool. We have built this solution or automation which basically can integrate your backend ERP, in this case Oracle e-business suite, with that planning system. And again, planning can be done within Oracle or outside of Oracle. So this solution is more towards a scenario when planning is done outside the Oracle. It contains pre-built integrations with planning applications. So pre-built integration could be communicating your assets information or install base information to planning tool, communicating on-hand orders or on-hand inventory information, your incoming and outgoing orders information. So this planning integrations has adapters to retrieve that information from e-business suite and push it back to the planning tool. Next one is a repair automation. This again helps to reduce manual efforts and Oracle repair cost and helps in product improvements. A repair automation provides complete integration with Oracle, and it provides automations at various points. This repair automation can also integrate with RMA Portal to provide quality information for product improvements. So there are various flavors of this solution. One where you can integrate your repair automation with your B2B partners if you outsource your repair. If you are doing your repairs in-house, then the repair automation integrates with RMA Portal, where your end customer can see status of a repair order, progress of a repair order. Through RMA Portal, your end customer can get an estimate, repair estimate, and can also approve repair estimate. And based on each and every action, appropriate backend automations will trigger in, and then it will perform appropriate actions on the repair job that you have created. Next solution is escalation management. This is a solution which allows you to track end-to-end supply chain and all the processes which are outlined under supply chain. This solution can also be developed using various technologies including Oracle, JTF, OAF, web application, or any other technology. Escalation management allows you to track end-to-end processes seamlessly so that your business user doesn't need to really check the status of each and every transaction. They will get a dashboard where they can see status of individual transaction, as well as the dashboard or the solution will notify them in case of any escalation. So all these solutions that we have talked so far are implemented by Jet Global at various customer places, and this can be easily extended to support your specific needs or goals. And then obviously you can reach out to us if you are interested in any of the solutions or have any questions about these solutions. So I'll just quickly have a recap of these solutions one more time. The overall solution comes with a bunch of automations which can be leveraged as a whole package or as an individual solution. So RMA Portal reduces RMA creation time and drastically helps users to focus on the real business problems. Warranty automation reduces warranty losses and offers easy tracking. Ideal solution for technology companies. EMS or exception management solution increases overall transaction processing and error resolution, reduces the development of new integrations, and this one is a fully configurable solution. Alternate part reduces inventory carrying cost, easy to use solution, and configurable solution which automates your replacement fulfillment processes. Planning integration, get maximum out of your logistics planning applications with pre-built integrations. and can easily be extended for multiple different applications. Repair automation. It reduces overall repair cost and integrates back with your reverse logistics. Escalation management. Escalation management helps in tracking your SLA. It makes sure you are SLA compliant, provides visibility of all the key events happening in your service supply chain, and it comes with advanced configurable UI with multiple drill downs and reporting capabilities.
If you have any questions or want to know more about our solutions and services, then please call us on the numbers displaying on your screen right now, or you can also email us at marketing@jadeglobal.com. We'll help out with any query you have, and thank you very much for attending the webinar, and we'll talk to you soon.